Rick, what's good, fam?
Just here to talk about what happened last night, the travesty that it was.
Man, okay, Rick, listen, man, listen. I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you this question. Um, Everybody asking about the ref. I'm not even thinking about the scores, what the judges scored or the draw. Forget that.
Mhm.
Rick, you've been doing boxing. You've been in boxing a long time, for over 30 years. Um, have you ever seen a fighter voluntarily take a knee?
He didn't voluntarily take a knee. He got hit
Okay,
with a shot. It was a delayed reaction, and he went
delayed
down.
reaction.
He's saying that he took a knee.
Yeah,
He went down from a delayed reaction. It happens all the time.
all the time. Yeah.
Okay, very very common. On any fight weekend, you can see that. That's number one. Okay, he started the count. And then when what's his name jumped up and went to his corner, he had stopped the count. Well, as soon as he went back to the corner and the trainer laid hands on it, which was the towel on his face and head, that's a DQ. Unless the referee sent him back there, and he never did. Okay, and you send him back to put the mouthpiece back in, to tear off tape, loose tape on a glove. That wasn't the case. As soon as he went back to that corner and that trainer got up on that apron and laid hands on him, that fight was over. It was should have been a DQ, and Lamont Roach should have been awarded the victory. And yes, it was a knockdown. They're calling it. He took a knee. It was no knee. 2 seconds later, he went down after he was punched. He just wasn't standing there and took a knee. He had a delayed reaction from a punch. You can say whatever he wants. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
You know what? You make a valid point because what happened was I saw the jab hit him in the left eye. It barely hit him. But the punch before that, it was the right hand. He caught
Right.
him good with the
Right.
either a catch and shoot or a pull counter. He caught him clean with it. And
Yes,
then
he did.
he followed it up with two jabs. And then Tank took a step back. Then he just went down and took a knee and turned his back. So
Last night was a 135-pound version of, in reality, of Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. So that's what it was. You basically, what was any differently? What was it? 35 years later? Yes, but that's what happened. He literally should have been DQ'd.
so what was okay, Rick? This is as I said. I just try to simplify things as much as possible. I said,
Mhm.
okay, I get the scoring, but what you said when Tank took when Tank got hit, delayed reaction, took that knee, and then he turned around and walked off. The ref looked like he looked at the ref first though, because I played it in slow motion. He looked to
Mhm.
his left at the ref, and then he took the knee. He went down. Lamont Roach is fixing to hit him, but I guess once he saw the guy down on his knee, I'm not gonna hit him, you know. And then he walked back the other way. The ref looked like he doesn't know what's going on. Then he tells Lamont to go to the corner. He tell him to go to the wrong corner. Then he turns around and then he starts. And then I guess he picks up at two. He does like this. He says two, if I'm not mistaken. And
Correct.
then Tank is look. He looked at the ref and said something. Then he got his head outside of the ring through the ropes. He's saying something to his trainers, and they came up and wiped his face. You saying at that moment
DQ.
that should have been a
DQ.
DQ.
Yeah.
So this is not a conspiracy. This is not you hating on the PBC or
No.
nothing like
No.
that. That's the
No.
rules.
It's rules.
Okay,
It's not an opinion. It's a rule.
yeah. so what would be the logical explanation for why the
Why
it
Tank
wasn't
did
called a
that?
DQ?
Tank didn't know the rules.
Huh?
He didn't know the rules of his own business. That's just all there is to it. A lot of guys don't. That's how that's how those things went down. Remember Roger Mayweather jumped in the ring years ago with
Yeah, I remember it.
Zab Judah
Zab
in that
Judah, yeah.
fight. They should have disqualified Roger. He didn't know the rule.
Roger got
You know,
suspended, right?
he got suspended, but he didn't know the. They didn't stop the fight, and they didn't stop the fight and rule it a disqualification loss on Floyd. they realized that it was an emotional thing, and he didn't know the rules. He didn't understand it. He jumped in the ring. He
Mm.
shouldn't have done that, and they let it go. But there really should have been a DQ. There's no question about that. Just like the last night should have been a DQ. Just to let everybody know, between what happened over there in Ireland yesterday with Patty Donovan and Lewis Crocker, when that was an error by the referee. Last night's judging in the fight with what is his name
Lamont
there?
Roach.
Sander Martin. No, Sander
Oh,
Martin.
and
That
Pueblo.
fight.
And Pueblo.
Yep. The judging last night's fight and the follies of mistakes the referee made in the same round. It was a horrible day for officiating yesterday. Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick, the young lady right here, Miss Black Panther, she asked, she said, can the outcome of the fight be changed?
It can only be changed to a DQ win for Lamont Roach if they rule that. They can't overturn scoring. This has nothing to do with the scoring. They should have never went to the scorecards. It should have been a
Yeah.
DQ in the ninth round.
So it's nothing that Lamont Roach can do. Can he petition it or?
Yes, they. I don't know if they are filing a protest, but I have advised his promoter to file a protest. Whether he does or not, I don't know. I've advised him to file a protest.
Rick, so okay, but what's the chance of the okay? Let's say he go through with that. What's the chances of because there's a lot at stake here. This is Gervonta Tank Davis. You know he's been built as the face of boxing. He's the biggest star over at the PBC for the most part. I'm
He
pretty
was
sure there was
definitely
a
the
lot.
face of boxing last night. They were wiping his face off in the corner during the round.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you're right about that. But listen, um, the audience started booing him, which shocked the hell out of me because Tank, they're there to see Tank, but they booed him like there are people who are fans of his, friends that I know. They're like, look, nah, man, he lost that fight. They're saying that so, and they booed him when he gave the excuse that the reason why he took the knee and went in his corner was because he had hair grease in his eyes. But if the rule is you're supposed to get disqualified, why the ref didn't do it? Why the ref didn't say that's it?
I think he was starstruck that it was happening. It was Tank Davis. It was happening. He was unprepared mentally. He lost control of the situation. These are just some of the reasons. I don't know, but it was horrible. First of all, it was a knockdown. He starts counting, then he stops.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that's a mistake right there. Then he goes back to the corner, never DQs him. I mean, then he brings him back out again, never took a he didn't even take a point away.
Yeah, he did take a point.
If you're
Yeah.
not going to disqualify him, you take 1 or 2 points away. It's in the rules to disqualify him, but he didn't even do that.
so
I mean,
so
it was. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I mean, it's unbelievable folly. There's no question about it.
so let's flip it. Cause this is what I was doing today earlier. I said, okay,
Mhm.
let's say Lamont Roach would have done what Tank did. Let's say Lamont Roach takes
They would have
gets hit a
DQ'd.
delay
They would
reaction.
have DQ'd him. They would have DQ'd him. There's no question about it.
So that's what I'm asking. I'm trying to get people to keep it real. Okay, let's say you want to argue and say, "Oh, we don't want to hear none of that. The fight was too big." Everybody knew Tank wasn't trying to throw the fight or whatever. Okay, let's say Lamont Roach would have did it. The people who support Tank, what would they say? What would they be saying right now?
I don't know. I'm not in that position. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but it wouldn't be pretty.
I know what they'll be saying. They'll be saying that Lamont Roach should have been disqualified.
Right. Right.
It shouldn't be a draw. Tank got robbed. This and that. Floyd has something to do with it. Whatever. That's what they would have said. Because go ahead, Rick. Sorry.
I mean, so start counting the knockdown and then stop because what's name jumps up and goes to the corner. I mean, the first rule in boxing is obey the referee. He's the lord and master in there. He didn't even obey the referee. He was counting. He ran to the corner to have the corner wipe his face down of supposedly the oil or grease, whatever what it was. It doesn't matter. He can't go to the corner to do that in a round. He cannot. Once the trainer got up on the apron, it should have been a DQ. But once he touched him, that was not even a question. That was not even a question. It's unbelievable. Seriously.
I saw the post fight interview, just part of it with Barry Hunter. He was the lead trainer there, and Calvin Ford was on the
Right.
podium with him.
Right.
Was that and they asked him, and he said, "Man, Barry Hunter." He said, "I've never seen anything like that." Tank's trainer. He said they do that in the amateurs, but he said we didn't know what was going on.
Well, that's
He
what I'm
said,
saying. I don't think Tank knew the rule,
right,
or the substance was bothering him that bad. I don't know. All I know is it doesn't matter why. It's a
right,
fucking DQ.
right.
Period.
You know what, Rick? Now that's something that you said that people are missing. I hear people saying that, hey man, well, Tank didn't mean this, he did that, yada yada. And I get all of that. I'm not saying Tank was probably caught up in the moment. I'm not saying he tried to do anything intentionally. My point is what you just said, it doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter the why.
yeah. It's like who shot Jack? It doesn't matter. Jack's dead. After
Yeah.
the fact, it will matter. Right now, it don't matter. Jack's dead. Same thing.
Yeah, so hey, so yeah, the why don't matter. So it's supposed to have been a disqualification, and had the roles been reversed, I'm 1,000% sure that that's what would have happened to Lamont Roach. I'm sure of that. It's not a
Correct.
doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. Not a question in my mind either.
So, do you think that damn? So, I Lamont just have to pretty much take a more victory right now. I hope they take your advice, but just take a more victory. Know that hey man, a lot of people picked against him. I picked against him, and I didn't pick against him because I didn't think that he was good enough. I just thought that I like Lamont Roach at featherweight because he's a featherweight.
Super
I'm like,
featherweight,
man,
130,
yeah,
130, super
yeah,
featherweight.
yeah, super featherweight. So I'm like, man, you know what, man? Tank only pick people who we already know what the
Right.
foregone conclusion is going to be. So I'm under the impression, man, this ain't no disrespect. Tank gonna stop this dude in like the 8th, ninth round. I had no idea he was gonna put Tank on the back foot. He was gonna fight him in the pocket as well. He had really, really good defense. He kept his right hand up because he know Tank likes to counter with the left. So he kept his right hand up and he was catching those. He was catching a lot of those shots on the inside, and um, to have the balls to fight Tank the way
He
he did.
he Lamont Roach fought the perfect game plan fight. Then he got hosed by the judges. I mean, it should have been. The knockdown should have been counted. And if the knockdown was counted, Tank would have won. Lamont Roach would have won the majority decision
Right.
because two of the judges that had it even would have had it for him 115, 113. And then the other judge that had it for Tank by 2 points would have had it even. So he got hosed on the decision. I mean, all the way around. Like I said in my tweet, if you go to my Twitter, it says he got robbed three different ways. It
Yeah.
wasn't a knockout on the scorecards, and then he went back to the corner. They didn't call it what do you call it? He got robbed three times in the same night.
Shout out to George Myers dropping that quarter of a dub. He said that he said Tank in his corner was confused. Roach was forcing him to his left. Bad advice. Um, yeah, Roach pretty much dick. What I'm gonna tell you something I really did like what Roach did. He had pretty good timing. His timing was pretty good. His
Roach
jab was
has
offsetting.
Roach has great timing and a tremendously high ring IQ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he showed a lot. He showed the gall to go in there and say, "Hey, I'm gonna fight this guy like this here." He was very poised. When he got hit, when Tank did touch him, Tank went to his body a couple of
The
times.
moment was not too bright for Lamont Roach. The moment was too bright for Tank Davis,
Um,
and definitely too bright for Steve Willis, the referee.
yeah, but that's crazy, man. Steve Willis been around a long time. He's a vet in the game, and Tank don't been in big. Tank don't been. He don't been on pay per view before. I think this is Lamont Roach's first pay per view. How could the moment be too big for him?
Sure looked at like when he ran back to his corner and he took a knee, went back to his corner and got his. And he's not supposed to. It's a rule. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not saying he knew the rule, but you're supposed to know the rules.
No, but Rick, I still don't like. I would, if I could speak to Tank Davis. I mean, I know he don't like me, but I'm just saying if I could speak to him, I'm like, he's a vet. He's been boxing a long time. They know the rule. If they don't know nothing else, they know. Look, when you're in the round, you can't go to your corner and stick your head out of the ring. They know that. I think that's a known fact. That's a foregone conclusion. Um, but even if something was in your eye, you just move around until the ring is until the
Well, he said his eye was burning.
yeah,
I sympathize with him.
right.
Okay, I've got substances in my eyes, and my eyes were burning, but I didn't stick my head out of the ring, and the corner man touched me. I was never a fighter. I never had that opportunity. But the point is that that's what happened. He should have been a DQ.
Yeah,
Should
yeah.
have never gone to the scorecards. It should have been over in the ninth round. And we should
Now,
have a new WBA lightweight champ today.
um, the reason why that didn't happen was would you say is it safe to say that the politics like Tank Davis is a big he's billed as the
Oh,
face of boxing.
do I think it was politics? It could be. It could have been too big for the moment for the ref. That he was flabbergasted by what was going on. He was startled. I don't know. I never talked to the man, but he done fucked up. No matter what happened.
So Rick, now that this fight is concluded, what do the commission go back? Everybody look at this fight and say, "Hey, look, this what should have happened."
Um, I don't know about the New York State Boxing Athletic Commission what they're going to do. I would think they're going to call him in. I would have it if I was the commissioner, the executive director, chairman of the commission. I would call for a hearing on the whole thing. It was deplorable. It was. You know what it was? Refereeing 101 that went way, 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 way wrong, where the guy made multiple mistakes in the same round.
Yeah, the ref. He started counting. So I would love to. This what I would love to interview Steve Willis myself. I would love to ask him like, okay, what was your thought process? Okay, you started counting after you told Lamont Roach to go. It took for me. It took him a long time
No.
to start counting. For one,
Right, but he stopped counting. I thought when Floyd
Tank.
Tank ran to the corner. That's when the count stopped. That should have been right there. Fight over. In reality, turned his back on the referee counting.
Yeah, I
Not a
want
good
to.
look.
I want to. I want to. I would love to ask him like, what made you start counting, and then what made you decide to stop counting?
Well, I think he stopped counting when he turned around and ran to the corner. Tank did. That's when I think he stopped. That's what I saw.
Yeah, but what does that? But what is the referee's justification for that? That's what I want to.
There is none. That's another error that he made. That's my point. That's why I said he made multiple mistakes in the same round.
Yeah.
It's
So
it's a mess. It's to take a great expression. It's a clusterfuck.
yeah. Um, if Lamont Roach were to petition this, I don't know. Do you
If
think he
if
will?
I was on the commission, or I was the executive director, or had voting powers, I would vote to overturn this to a DQ, a victory for Lamont Roach. That's
Man,
what the
that's a
facts
lot of
are.
money. What would be the backlash with that? Because what you think would be the now with boxing, that's the right thing to do. But
Well,
Tank has a fan
listen,
base. They'll get mad.
they can't overturn a decision based on the scorecards unless they found corruption. Okay, they, you can't do that. They can't make it a no contest. They can't do anything like that or overturn it based on that. But in reality, him starting the count and then not saying it was a knockdown after he started the count, that would have made the difference on the scorecards. To me, that would be grounds to overturn it.
Yeah, but like you said, even okay, even if which you're right about that. But even if we say, okay, forget that, we'll let you have that. As soon as he went to that corner
Well,
and stuck
it's a
his head
DQ. It's
between
a
outside of the
DQ.
ring, and it's
Game
yeah,
over.
yeah, game
Game
over. That's it.
over.
Yeah, there's no way around that. There's no way around that. So
Nope.
that's why I asked you because um, for Tank fans who are going to be listening to this, they're going to say, "Well, that's Rick Glaser. He hate Tank." This has nothing to do with your feelings. This has nothing to do with
No,
who hates who likes who. The rule is once he stuck his head outside of the ring, that's it. Then his trainer
correct.
touched him and wiped his face. And mid round, that's it. That's the rule. That has nothing to do with your feelings or emotions. So
Nothing.
it's non emotional.
I'm citing a rule.
How long? So I wonder what's next. Damn? I wonder how they're gonna spin this. Like people gonna be talking about this for the product for the rest of the week.
Well, my post on Twitter about this did 3,300 um, hits on it and 155,000 views as of 9 o'clock tonight. So there you go.
So all right.
Crazy.
So I tell you what. So um I was under the impression, and this is what I said. I said this a while ago. I say Tank more than likely is going to fight Isak. Whoever he fights, this before when the Lamont Roach fight was announced, I said I think Tank is going to fight Isak Cruz next. I think that's going to be his next fight. What do you think about that?
For what? He can't make 35. He's a 140 pounder Cruz, and he has no title. Why would you fight him?
I just think it's an in-house fight. I mean, why would he fight Lamont Roach? Lamont Roach is
Well, because Lamont Roach was a sitting world champion, a lot more cachet. In reality, another face. Remember, you're talking about a rematch of a fight that happened already. 4 years ago? He doesn't have a belt anymore, Cruz.
yeah, you're right. He doesn't have a belt anymore. So I'm trying to think like where would he go at from here now?
I
We know
he has to do it. He has to do. He has Lamont Roach look at him straight in the eye. That should be a rematch.
but he said after the fight, he said he wants to rematch him, but Lamont won't be next. That's what Tank
Well,
said.
they have a rematch clause.
But hold on, wait a minute. But I thought the rematch clause was a one-way rematch clause, meaning if Tank lose, then he has the right to exercise the rematch. But Lamont doesn't have that power. Was it a two-way
Oh,
two-way rematch clause?
I don't know that, but I have been told there is a rematch clause. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't think he could face the public with big numbers if he doesn't fight Lamont Roach next. I'll leave it like that. Unless he fights Shakur or something like that, even a bigger challenge.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so. Now I kind of get what Calvin Ford was saying. The reason why they don't want to fight Shakur, he has to do more in order to earn the right to fight Tank. Then I did hear Calvin say Tank won't let us do what we do. I mean, not Tank. Shakur won't let them do what they do. So what I'm figuring is, based on what I saw last night, Tank looked like that he would probably have a problem with the boxers.
Oh, absolutely. Come on.
Yeah,
That's a foregone conclusion at this point.
he had a problem with boxers with good footwork. So if you're a boxer that got a good footwork, someone like a Shakur, it's gonna be hard for him to pretty
I've
much do what
always
he
said
did.
Shakur beats Tank. Both always said it.
Uh so it's about of course boxing styles make fights. It's about the matchups and stuff like that. He's in a position to where he doesn't have to. He can pick and choose who he wants. He'll take and say he'll fight me, and we'll sell out. We'll sell out the Barclays Center. You
He
know,
may be able to do a good crowd. Don't get me wrong, but he won't do good. He won't be doing good pay-per-view numbers. I don't believe the other night that did well on pay-per-view.
well, a lot of people, everybody I know streamed it, but
Well,
there's some good streams out there though.
yeah,
There's some good streams
there
out
you
there.
go. There's your answer.
So I want to pivot a little bit, Rick. Um, the PBC as a company, it seems as though they are going through a transition to the point to where I know that they have partnered up to a degree with Turk Al Sheik as some of their fighters on there. Turk Al Sheik has said that hey, he spoke about his partners, PBC, Top Rank, um, Golden Boy, and Matchroom, and Queensberry, and stuff like that. So my thing is, if PBC is already working with Turk Al Sheik to a degree, do you foresee maybe Tank doing a fight with Turk Al Sheik?
I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know because Turkey El Sheik's going to force him to fight Shakur. Is going to force him to fight Williams Zepeda. Some, the real good fighters out there. So I would be hard pressed to see that.
Okay, shout out to the brother. He said hype job Tank Davis. He said Mendoza WBA said he may order a rematch. He may. Okay, if that happens, that'll be good. I think you know what I think Tank should do that. Just do the rematch. And some people feel that Tank could have did a lot better in that fight. I had a couple of calls call here and say, well, that wasn't the same Tank. And I'm like, fam,
Tank's
I
always
mean,
the same, but nobody realized because then he gets them out of their one power. He was behind on a whole bunch of fights he's been behind on, except he got him out of there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Lamont Roach, what you think is next for him? Does he go back down to 130 and
No,
defend
I
his
think he's
belt?
going to do. I think Tank's going to be forced into a rematch.
So you really think that with the WBA, he's going to have to.
Between WBA, between maybe the contract, I don't know, but he's got to come clean and save face here. He's in trouble here. His reputation. I've had a lot of people call me all day today that were fans from social media that I talked to on the phone. They said, "Fuck Tank, fuck this, fuck that, fuck Tank." He lost that fight. He's got to save face. He's got to come back and fight and show the world that he's this guy that he everybody claims that he is. At least
I
everybody from Baltimore and PBC claim he
I
is.
I think what I think Tank has to do is this is the thing, right? Because what I notice is things have become a high fever pitch. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that, Rick. We've been hearing there's always been years. Oh man, Tank is a protected fighter. Floyd protected him, this and that. But he's not with Floyd anymore, and he's picking he's cherry picking and this and that. So because of what happened last night, with the fight turning out to be a draw, and a lot of people who are Tank fans that I know say that they thought that Tank lost that fight. It's kind of like the public opinion is starting to change a little bit. Like, you know what, man, we got to see this dude. We got to see this dude really fight somebody. Fought Roach. It looked like he lost that fight to a lot of people.
He's got to start back out by fighting Roach, winning, and then going on to Shakur. And hopefully he wins that fight. His reputation, it's damage control time, guys.
Rick, the only problem that I have, the problem that I have was this. What I don't like about certain fan bases, they'll say, and I'm not saying anyone in particular, but just it's a couple of fighters that have fan bases. It doesn't make sense to me. They
Mhm.
would justify their favorite fighter not having to fight the other top guys, even their trainers, like a Calvin Ford or this and that. Well, this guy got to do A, B, C, and D, but he's a champion in your division, and he's universally recognized as one of the top guys. Alexander Usyk is the total opposite. His fan base don't say, "Well, look, we don't need to fight Tyson Fury. You don't need to fight Anthony Joshua. You don't need the rematch." But Turviev and Bivol, they fan base don't say that. No, I'm going to run it back with him, fight him again, just to prove to y'all. So why is it that uh, it's like they don't see the hypocrisy?
Because the I the Eastern Europeans, Russians, Ukrainians, Kazakstanians, it's a very macho thing. And they feel the fighter should fight the best, whether he wins or loses, he's got to fight the best. That's why. Different mentality.
Hold on. This guy right here said he must be a diehard Tank fan. He said Tank said he wanted the rematch. He's not hiding. He said he had a bad night. I'm gonna play. I think you selectively hearing what you want to hear. I'm gonna play for you later on what Tank said. I'm gonna let you hear it out of his own mouth. Let you hear it out of his own mouth. All right, Rick. So Rick, talk to me. What you got going on in boxing and stuff like that? You got any new fighters you recommend? Or?
Just doing my normal business every day. It starts up tonight about 11, I'm sorry, about 12 o'clock tonight, and it goes full speed till Wednesday night. Then Thursday's slow, Friday's dead, and next Sunday night at 12 o'clock we'll start up the same thing. So I'm 24/7, 365. Been doing this 34 years, and I was put on. God put me on earth to do this, so
And
I
who
am what I
who
am.
who introduced you? Who introduced you to boxing? Like who put you in the? Who you started
Well,
off with?
I always liked boxing from the beginning, but Mike Akery, a promoter from Erie, Pennsylvania, who's now passed away, he started me in the business in '91. I called him up, and he didn't have a brother in the business and no relatives, no sons. He never had any kids. And he just said, "Come on, and I'll teach you the business, and you'll work with me, and I'll groom you." And he did. And we were together till 2010 when he basically retired. Now he's passed on in 2020, January 2021. But he was my first mentor. And then Ron Katz, who at the time worked for Top Rank, he was my site. He helped me. And then Bruce Trampler helped me. And then Don Majeski helped me, the legend of Don. And then Don King we started working together
Mm.
in 2003. And I learned a lot from Don. And I think Don learned a lot from me, what of the truth. We were a good combination for till 2016 when I developed the cancer and I couldn't travel for 32 months. And by the time I picked up again, Don was basically, basically retired, semi-retired, does the occasional show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite promoter, man. Don King, man. Don King, I love, Don has a big personality. Big
Oh,
personality, infectious laugh, smile, um, very confident, cocky. I love Don. I ain't gonna lie. I always felt like that Don King and Bob Arum, they helped make each other great promoters. That's what I thought.
absolutely. Absolutely. They drove each other to new heights and they drove boxing to new heights. Absolutely. No question about it. There's not even I told Don and I told Bob, you guys were great for each other. Even though you guys were mean competitors, you guys were great for each other and you guys were great for the sport, both of you. Sort of
This
like a
guy,
real estate, it's sort of like a real estate developer taking what was the hood and bulldozing, a square mile and putting up a big mall.
pretty
Same kind
much.
of thing. They great for them. It was great.
This dude right here, JD Spade, he said, what does Rick do? Like, what's your profession?
My
What's your
company,
title?
glaserboxing.com, is a 24/7, 365 worldwide provider of quality supplemental services to the boxing business globally since 1991. I'm an expert witness. I have attorneys that are clients. I'm an expert witness in lawsuits. I broker deals for promoters for fights and for long-term contract, what they call promotional agreements, option agreements, do all kinds of services for supply sparring partners, for managers, opponents, just do everything to do with the white collar faction of boxing.
The white collar fashion about it. A lot of people don't like you. You're the first person that educated me on that. Um, there's a difference, and you broke that
Well,
down.
there's a
And
difference between the sport and the business. The white collar faction is the business, and the blue collar faction is the sport. That's the best way to put it.
yeah, I'm glad you said that because a lot of these guys on here, they know more about your business than you do. And these guys are experts. I know YouTube channels, they experts. They know.
Well, they know the sport what they see. They don't
Right.
understand what goes on in the back room. And like tonight, I'll be talking to people in Dubai tonight before I go to bed. Dubai, um, I don't know where else. I've got to see who's going to call me, who I have to call. But at least I know I got to call one guy in Dubai. Oh, a guy in Australia I have to call. And I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I start on all my European accounts. I have a couple accounts in France that I work with, promoters over there, and I render advice to TV networks, streaming platforms, just a little bit of everything.
So for future references, anybody, y'all say this show, clip this show at the between the 33 and 36-minute mark. Rick Glaser broke down what exactly he does in the sport of boxing. So if you know any of your favorite YouTube channels who do what Rick do or want to challenge him on that, you can. I don't think you're gonna win it, but I'm just saying, a lot of y'all, what he do? What he do? Okay, he just explained to you what he do. Now, do your research and see what's up and see to anyone can disagree with what he's saying and prove what he's saying is a lie. Just do that. Um, Rick, so Top Rank. Somebody said something about Top Rank. You've been tweeting a lot about Top Rank. What's going on with that situation?
Falling apart at the seams. They don't have a TV or streaming deal going forward after July 26th when their 8-year deal with ESPN ends. Um, and July 26th is the last show. They don't have a new deal going forward. They just got sued by $25 million by a guy from California named Billy Keane. Um, for
Do you know him?
I know him. Um, I read through the complaint. It sounds like a lot of craziness. If it's true, it's pretty bad. Um, he said that Top Rank didn't have the money to fund the shows. Hard for me to believe that Bob Arum didn't have the money to fund shows. Come on, please. That's like that's outlandish, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, they lost another decision the other night. They just cut some fighters loose, several fighters loose that were good fighters, undefeated, and they cut them loose. They just don't have the slots, and it looks like they're cutting back. I wouldn't be surprised if there's layoffs coming. Coming,
It's amazing because you see a lot of corporate layoffs going on in the media, the mainstream media. You know, which that has nothing to do
especially
with
with
boxing, but
ESPN. Especially with ESPN.
right with ESPN, so they're cutting back. So, what options? I'm pretty sure this court thing or whatever the guy that's suing them, that's going to be years in litigation. What
Well,
options do they?
I think they may end up on the zone. Yeah, it could end up, but they're going to end up with a very limited deal, maybe a show a month or something like that. I don't think they're going to end up with any 20 shows a year or anything like that. If they end up with a show a month, but at a great reduced budget compared to what they've been getting from ESPN, they're going to be a shell of of their old self. I think there's going to be a lot of layoffs at Top Rank. That's my prediction.
A lot of layoffs, but how many employees do they have?
They got about 39, I think, 38, 39.
Damn, I didn't know they had that 38, 39.
A big company. You used to see the office building they got. Jesus. You should see
Damn.
this thing.
Yeah, okay, 38, 39. I probably figured they probably had like 30, but they got almost 40 people. So, like, okay, in a situation like that, when the company downsizes, and I know it's kind of hard for you to probably guess, who would be like some of the first people to go that's expendable in the company? Would it be matchmakers or?
No, you got to have a matchmaker, but they'd probably get rid of some of the social media people. They'd probably get rid of a couple of the executives. Um, there's a real morale problem with Top Rank, and nobody talks about it. The president lives in Val, Colorado, maybe Aspen. Well, he lives in Colorado. Doesn't matter.
Mm,
Okay, he's got a home in Winnebago, but he actually lives in Colorado. You got the COO lives in Miami. The director of boxing, executive director of our vice president of boxing, he lives in New Jersey, and the lawyer lives in L.A. And that's where they are. So you can't run a business like that. I know there's Zoom and I know there's emails. You need to be in contact with the employees because if not, morale goes down.
I get it. I understand that. Um, Turkey Island Sheik. I remember Tank said something of the sort leading up to this fight that he felt that Turkey Island Sheik, they cheat fighters over there. A lot of fighters go over there and they lose. I think that's greatly exaggerated because these fights are more 50-50 fights. So somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. It's as simple as that. If you lose, it's not because of
He's not used to real fights. Look at that. Look at the line the other night, 20-1. Yeah, he stood up. But look at all the lines that for all of his fights and Turkey Al Sheikh's fights. Look what the lines are in the fights, the betting
yeah,
lines. They're all
they're not
close.
20-1.
No.
Um, Lamont Roach was a 20-1 underdog.
Mhm.
In my mind, there was nothing that told me. I said, man, Tank gonna stop this dude. 20-1 underdog. Wasn't anyone betting on him of that sort outside of anybody outside of DC wasn't really thinking about Lamont Roach like
Well,
that.
I know a couple of guys that bet on him and put $100 down and they to win. I think 1080. I think the figure 1075. If you
Mm,
put $100 on, you win 1075. If you want to win $100, you had to put up 2,000.
man, that's crazy, bro. 20
Yeah,
to 1 underdog, and he don't get hurt. He don't get dropped.
nope.
He's coming.
He was never hurt, never wobbled, never nothing.
He's coming forward the entire fight. He got hit with the Tank's left hand on multiple occasions. He took it very
Well,
well
it
and
is
came back and countered.
it is professional boxing. They will get hit once in a while. Yes.
Right. Just the way he did it. So Rick, just to do a wrap up, just to wrap this part up right here for those who may just be coming in. What Tank did the other night, last night, when he took the knee, referee started counting or whatever. He went over to his corner. Once he stuck his head outside of the ring, that's would have been disqualified there, or when his trainer touched him.
It could have been either way because it would have been a TKO. If he wouldn't have touched him, it should have been a TKO because the referee had started counting. Should have been a TKO there. But once that's subjective. But once the trainer laid hands on him with the towel, should have been a DQ right there.
That's the rule. That's the rule right there.
That's in the rules.
Okay. All right. Well, Rick, man, thank you so much. And the rules has nothing to do with your feelings. None of that. That's what it says for any fight. It doesn't matter who you are. That's what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
Is it safe to say that, I guess we know now, it's safe to say that certain fighters do get favoritism, certain fighters?
Obviously, after last night, obviously. Sandor Martin should have got his hand raised in a world title fight against Alberto Palillo, and he didn't get his hand raised.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I didn't see the entire fight. I saw like the last 4 rounds of that fight. So, but I heard people did tell me that they thought he won because I saw Carl Moretti in the ring. I saw Carl Moretti.
That's a bad sign.
What?
Looks like the kiss of death. They lost, didn't they?
Yeah, no. But Carl Moretti was backing this guy because what's the name is what's the name Sandor Martin. He's a top ranked fighter.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, let everybody know how to get in contact with you.
My Twitter is @RealRickGlaser1. It's a verified account. There's a lot of fake Rick Glaser accounts out there, including @RealRickGlaser1. It's a little confusing, but the verified account, and it's got over 14,000 followers. And my phone number, my email is at my website. It's glazerboxing.com, GLASER, glazerboxing.com. Anybody can contact me. If you got any opportunities or you have any questions, I can help you in any way. It's just what I do for a living. I help people.
Man, I appreciate you, Rick, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I know you're going to be up late, but hopefully we can do this again next week sometime.
I'm very interested in doing it again this week. If follow through, maybe we'll do a call-in portion where people can call in and abuse me like they always do.
All right. No Diddy.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.